collections, classics, customs, restorations. This is Crossroads Speed Shop. Today's build is a custom 64 Ford Galaxie.
Well, we have our 1964 custom Ford Galaxie 500 all taken apart. So kind of let's take a look. When we look at the body, it's just a little, not too bad actually. It's not really in that bad a shape, but I've got some other customizing plans for that. Base, just a chrome plastic base, which we probably will strip and redo. The MC5s, they have a little chrome trim ring on them, but we're going to use some different wheels there. The window doesn't look too bad. Probably just a little washing up, a little dip in the Pledge Revive will be good. Neat thing about this, one of the things is you look at that, you can see there's an engine as part of the interior. You can see that right here. And what was interesting is I was reading on it, it was supposed to be originally planned for the engine revealers. It was part of the Muscle Mania collection back in 2012. This is a 2012 casting. But this was, that's why they have the engine in there, so the opening hood. But that never happened, at least to my knowledge, that never happened. But a lot of them still have the engine right there as well. So that's kind of a neat thing. It's kind of neat to see all the different things sometimes that are in those interiors that you don't normally see when you just hold the casting in your hand. You don't see it till you take it apart. Well, okay, let's get on with our project. All right, well, once you get your car out of the stripper, I take it out of the citrus strip because that's what I use. You get the car out of the citrus strip, you get the paint off of it, wash it down, stuff. Before you either go to put flits on it or just to clean it up a little bit, you want to take some time just to look around the casting to see if there's any casting lines, any extra debris or whatever, just a little bit of flashing, I guess is what you want to say. Just to try to touch that up a little bit, and just take your file in there just to do that. Look and see if there's any casting lines. Doesn't seem to be any major casting lines on this one. But just try to check around. Sometimes there's a little bit of flash can be right there around the windshield and stuff. And you really want to make sure that that's taken care of. One makes your custom look a little bit better, as well as when you're doing that, what happens is when you go to after you paint it and you go to put the windshield back in, it'll probably get you a much nicer fit as well. And then after you get it to that point, you can notice there's still a little bit gray. So then you want to take one of these Scotch-Brite wheels, that's what I do anyway, and just run over. Take your time and just run over the casting. Kind of smooths things out. There's a little bit more of the sanding. If you got any little residual pieces of paint in there and some of those crevices and stuff, it'll take those things out. And there you go. You can see how it's already starting to shine up a little bit better than the rest. So I'm going to finish the rest of this off camera, and we'll get it into the paint booth. All right. Well, we're getting ready to put the wheels onto our 64 Galaxie project. Again, these are some nice white wall wheels from Samed Wheels with some nice 5-spokes. One of the things, a lot of times, Samed Wheels does a good job of they give you extra long axles, but when you so that way sometimes when you get to some of these that are got the narrow base or the narrow front end like that one does, the axle is a lot longer. So what you need to do on that is to take your axle, and you'll need to cut it. You'll need to cut it down, and by using some wire cutters or some like this, you can cut it down. And then what I do is I take some. This is just some crimpers, and I'm able to by putting the end of it in there and squeezing it, I can crimp down the end, and you can, as you can see here, you can see how the end's flat, and then you pull it apart, and it holds in there. So now what we're going to do is we got all our pieces all put together. The axles are all are all straight there. And let's see if we can move it out a little bit so you can see a little bit better what we're doing here. Okay, so then what I do, I make sure the wheels are pushed all the way down. The axles are all the way down inside those little prongs in there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take some of this JB weld, okay, and you're going to just put just a small bit there. And then, but don't let it run, because that capillary action will run right down into the wheels if you're not careful. Okay, and we'll do the same thing. On the front end. Sometimes you might see a little wisp of smoke come up there. The ultraviolet light hits it. Again, give it about 9 seconds. And that should do it. One thing about the JB Super Weld, when you're doing something like that, it's a little bit less messy than when you have to use an accelerator to cause the regular super glues and stuff to harden. So that helps out a little bit. And the wheels all turn. I always make sure of that. And they're in there. And the rollers. So, okay, let's move on.
Later.
All right, well, we got our 64 Ford Galaxie all stripped and ready. First took some, after I got it cleaned up, took some flitz polish, shined it up using this felt buffing wheel on my Dremel tool. It really comes out really nice. And I also, after I get that all done, I take a toothbrush and some degreaser, and I degrease it, rinse it off with some good hot soap and water, and then I take a little bit of isopropyl alcohol and give it a dip in that, or you can spray it. Either way works fine. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use some of this lime green paint from the Redline shop. And what I usually do is I take one of these pipettes, and usually it's a 5-to-1 mixture of 5 of the color to 1 of the hardener. And but make sure that when you do that you don't use the same pipette for it. You get a clean one. These are disposable. They're pretty cheap, and use that. So I've got it all mixed up here. I'm ready to go to the paint booth and get the color on it. Let's move on.
A few moments later.
Okay, we're all ready to assemble our custom 64 Ford Galaxie 500. I painted it with some Spectraflame lime green from the Redline shop. I think they come out really nice looking. And painted the interior white. The windshield, all it needed was just a little bit of cleanup with some hot soap and water, so that was really nice. If you remember the base, had to be stripped. I stripped the base. Then I painted both the tail and the front end with chrome. And I also detailed out the exhaust by taking a little bit of a pin vise and just detailed that out a little bit. And then in the lights, I used some transparent red from Createx for the taillights. And the wheels are white wall 5-spoke wheels from Samed Wheels, 10 millimeter, and they look good. I got the idea for this car from an image that I saw on the internet. And so I decided, well, I would try to do that. I was kind of looking for something different to do, and I wanted to do something with this car, but I didn't know what, and so I got the idea from the internet. So let's get this thing assembled. All right, well, we have our little 64 Ford Galaxie 500 all customized. I painted the car with Spectraflame lime green from the Redline shop. The base I stripped off the old chrome, re-chromed the front and rear end. The rear end, you can see I detailed the tail lights. I used some transparent red from Createx, as well as I took a pin vise to open up the exhaust ports a little bit on there. The wheels are white wall 5-spoke wheels from Samed Wheels. I also used some Rust-Oleum white to paint the interior. I had a lot of fun with this build. I like looking at these old cars. Like I say, this one was one that I'd seen as an image on the internet, and so I decided I would try to get something that was close to that. I really like how this car came out. I hope you like it too. Thank you for watching the videos. I really appreciate all my subscribers and viewers. It means a lot to me. Again, as always, God bless, and thanks for stopping by the shop.